Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm very proud today to be standing in for Senator Tina Muña Barnes, who's under the weather at the present time, to present this resolution which she introduced relative to recognizing and commending the volunteers of the Guam-CNMI Committee on Employer Support of the Guard and Reserve, ESGR, for their hard work in the development and promotion of employer support in the service members of the National Guard and Reserve by advocating relevant incentives, recognizing outstanding support, increasing awareness of applicable laws, and resolving any conflicts between employers and service members. I've had the great pleasure and honor of attending a couple of your balls recognizing your employers, and there's a whole number of them out there who have been very, very supportive of all the members of the Guard and the Reserve. And so I think it's imperative that we as a community recognize the private companies that are out there, and also recognize the many government and Guam agencies that have been supportive, sacrificed, and been undermanned while their members were away. But more importantly, I want to thank all of you that are involved for your service, but more importantly for also the service that you're providing to assure that all your members in the Guard and Reserve are either appropriately taken care of by their private companies or by the government agency. Because I think when you are deployed, and unfortunately things haven't been resolving in the world, I'm hoping we don't have another deployment soon, but things aren't resolving in the world the way that we were hoping it would, and we've got to keep our guard up, as it were, because the nation's going to continue to need all of you to continue to provide the assistance and protection that we in the civilian community need and your families need. And so I want to thank all of you for your service. I want to thank the members of the ESGR for their assistance in making sure that we as a community all do our fair share of assisting in making sure that the men and women who want to serve in the Guard and Reserve are able to do so. And so I'd like to ask Mr. Sablan to come forward, and whoever else from ESGR staff and assistants to receive this on behalf of the Guam legislature. I know that there are 600 of you just came back, and a couple hundred that are still unemployed, and that's just unacceptable. We've got to make sure that we do everything that we can to make sure that when these men and women come back, that we as a community do everything that we can to make sure that they're employed, they're housed. There was a presentation this morning on homeless situation for some of the veterans. And so we as a community owe a great debt of gratitude to all of you for all that you have done over the many years. And we thank the ESGR for all that they do to make sure that all of you are able and willing to be able to serve our community and protect our families. Thank you very much on behalf of the Guam legislature.
Thank you very much, Vice Speaker. Well, I'm on TV again. Thank you. Vice Speaker, on behalf of ESGR and, of course, members of the Guard and Reserve, we thank you very much for this honor in recognizing our work. We have this relevant initiative of trying to get our service members employed, especially those that came back from the recent deployment in Afghanistan. About 200 of them were unemployed, and Colonel Chrysostom, of course, is in charge of that Keep Your Guard Up program, but we are right behind the scenes helping him with getting these soldiers ready for the workplace, helping them with their resumes and so on. You gave us some information this morning earlier, and we certainly will follow up on that to make sure that those positions in the various government agencies and law enforcement are addressed, hopefully and preferably with members from our Guard. I'd just like to recognize as well Commander Blocker there from the Coast Guard joining us, so I appreciate very much you being here. He's actually active duty, but he has about 17 Coast Guard reservists working in his unit, so we appreciate you joining us very much to be with us for this recognition from our legislature. And we have, of course, members of our Guard, Army Guard, and Air Guard here, and we want to thank you all for joining us and recognizing the work that we do in helping you, ladies and gentlemen, in our military, especially those in the Guard and Reserve. And so our work will continue. This is just a highlight in our year in recognizing what we do at ESGR, but the work is never done, unfortunately. And as the Vice Speaker had mentioned, there could be some new deployments, possibly, depending on what happens further in North Africa and the Middle East. And we will always be there. ESGR will always be there to help make sure that when you return back home, you transition well into our civilian life, and that there are jobs waiting for you. That's primary responsibility that we have with ESGR. So again, I want to thank you, Vice Speaker, and the legislature for this recognition, and we appreciate very much your support as well in taking care of our men and women in the Guard and Reserve. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Let's have one photo.